Huge news for Universe Mode just dropped along with the release of the MyGM Ringside report, and it has fans very excited for WWE 2K26, so let's go ahead and go over all of the big changes coming. Starting off with the Universe Mode, the big box feature was the draft, and let me tell you guys, they did not miss. From a presentation standpoint, it is better than I expected. It's not just a little screen like in MyGM, it's a full presentation. Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis come out to the podium with their draft cards. You can see their reactions when making their picks. It is such a big dub, but from a logistical standpoint, it is also great as well. Just like in real life and past drafts, it is a week-long event where you choose 2 shows, and the draft happens on those 2 shows. Unfortunately, it is limited to only 2 different shows to draft. A little bit of a limitation there, but it's all right because you can also have minor shows like an NXT where those superstars and that brand will not draft, but the superstars will be up for the draft along with your other brands to have a bigger pool, which I think is great. Also, another question was, how long is it going to be? What rounds? The great thing is there is a set number of rounds, but you can customize it for more or less to make your draft pool bigger or smaller and have more or less changes, which I think is once again great. But also the settings don't stop there. Champions in real life in the past drafts were not allowed to be drafted or changed, but there is a setting to allow or disallow that, along with being able to allow or disallow teams being split up, free agents and legends being drafted as well, which I think is huge. It allows you to really build your universe mode how you want it and draft how you want. Big dub from the developers, huge changes. I love to see it. A big question of what the creation wizard was gonna be when it was first announced, and it's exactly what I was kind of expecting it to be, which is helping you really set up your universe mode in a much easier way. There's nothing really different. It's the same thing where you can, disable shows, disable PLEs, import shows, import PLEs, customize superstars, everything we've already had, but it makes it in a much easier, digestible way to really handle, especially if you're a newer player, because it can be a little bit chaotic when you start your universe mode as a new player. Your first week is already generated, but now you're going to make changes after it. It doesn't make too much logical sense. So now you make all those changes before the first week actually begins, which makes it really easier for newer players to really get in the mode and not feel it's too complicated, feel lost right at the start, which I think is great for the universe mode community. As someone who really pushes universe mode, it's the big part of my channel. I think this is great for everyone else, especially the newer players. So I think this is a really great change by the devs. A huge addition that we were all hoping for was more promo options. I'm on the record predicting that we were going to have backstage promos and tag team promos. Unfortunately, that does not seem to really be the case. No backstage promos 100%, that's outright said, but there is a cool new post-match interview option, which is, in the ring rather than backstage, so it's half of what I wanted in that kind of thing. But it can trigger something similar to the call-out and interrupt options that we already have, which is cool. It's kind of what we already had in that case, but at the same time, it's after a match, and it kind of makes it more unique and different. So it is a nice new option to have to set up future rivalries. Along with that, self-promos were a big issue and complaint that I had with the promo system last year, is it kind of felt cheesy. The self-promo was literally just choosing a goal for a specific match, how quickly you could win it, how you would win it, that kind of thing. It didn't really make much sense. But now they added huge new options for face and heel turns, changing divisions, changing shows, which I think is great because I made a video talking about things I'd want for universe mode, and one of them was having superstar driven goals. This isn't exactly what I want for goals, but being able to have a superstar now change what they want, change a division to go for a different title, maybe they aren't doing great on their one show on Raw, so they want to go to SmackDown. That's really a goal and something set up for a new storyline, which is exactly what you want out of these promo systems. Create new storylines, create more dynamic feeling of your universe mode, make it feel more lifelike where superstars are going for different identities, different titles, different actions, that kind of thing, which I think is great for the mode and a big dub from the promo changes. Another addition is the watch show mode. I wasn't too hyped for this. If you're not a newer viewer, you already know my expectation for this was it's just a simplified version of going match to match, segment to segment in your weekly shows. That's exactly what it is, but there is some cool elements to it that I'm actually very excited for. There is a show opening, along with there being a placement for where the show is that week. 2 big presentation details. There was no mention that I've seen of a show intro, and I don't believe we're gonna get that, honestly, which I know a lot of people want it, but at least a show opening and kind of this show transition between matches and segments that has been talked about is a cool addition. I think does add to the presentation, even if we don't get a full-on real-life, exactly realistic presentation. There is elements to it to make your universe mode feel like your universe, which I think is very exciting. But also a big talking point that I want to talk about here is even though it's a watch show mode, so it sounds like AI and AI matches only, you can jump into matches throughout the show, which I think is a great thing because it allows you to maybe just watch matches you want to watch, but then play more exciting matches to really get a full feel and full customization of how you want to interact with your universe mode, what you watch versus play. So that's a big dub on the universe mode watch show section end. And now we have the MyGM Ringside report. As you can see from the starting screen, NXT Mutiny is once again a choice, as it was in My Rise last year. I think that's a great addition, add some more brands to it. Then the season startup, this is a big one. Opening budget, you can see, it looks like 7 million is now the maximum. Last year, I think it was 4 mil, which in my opinion was still not nearly enough. So I'm glad they almost doubled it for this year. But also, it's not on the screen here, but 50 weeks is now the baseline for how long your season's going to be, which I think is great. It was 50 in the first year when they brought back MyGM in 2K22. They made it 25, which I didn't think made much sense. It made it too quick. And really, if you got in a hole early, you couldn't really bounce back because you didn't have enough time. I think that's a great addition. Now more in detail here, as you can see, the higher starting budget is the 7 million. It makes it so you can have 20 to 35 superstars. So that's great from, a strategy point of view. You can load up on top-end talent and only have like 20 superstars and try to use how their star power to really win your season. Or you can go more along the lines of getting a bunch of middle-of-the-pack superstars up to 35, better manage stamina, really build them up to try and win your season with 35 superstars. So I think that's a lot of fun. But also, we have updates on the AI. They talk about it every year. I feel like usually after one playthrough or one season, I get how it really works and how you can really game the system to beat the AI, no matter how hard it is in your settings. But they have it tuned. Hopefully it does make it more difficult because I want a lot more of a challenge from the computer when I'm playing offline. Now with the draft screen, it looks to be exactly the same as last year. The cost seems to be the same as well, so that's good because one of my fears was if we increase the salary, would it also increase the cost per superstar? But it appears it did not, so 7 million actually gets you a lot more than would have been before last year. So the increase in total salary, 7 million, makes it more beneficial for making sure you get a lot more superstars. Then in terms of the matches, they added new matches this year. And it's a lot easier to see. Last year was that weird box system where you had to go back and forth, up and down. But now this is just more of a clean layout where you can just go through all the match types and click what your stipulation is. Love to see that. Then it lists them all out here. I'll let you guys go through these here, but it's good to see. I feel like this is a big increase actually, because every year they do add a few match types. This one seems like they're adding almost every single one into the game, along with a bunch of the new ones. I Quit, Inferno, Dumpster, 3 Stages of Hell, all the 4 new match types for the game this year are all going to be in MyGM. Love to see that. Along with some other ones, Bloodline Rules wasn't in there last year, but is this year. Battle Royals are in there. That's big. And then also ladder matches. Interested to see how those, play a role in your universe or in your MyGM. Also PLEs, brand PLEs, 6 and 8-way matches. So I hated the brand warfare, but I said it would work and make sense for something like Elimination Chamber, for example, where there's actually an Elimination Chamber match. The rewards don't quite make sense, but at least it's a fun way to have an Elimination Chamber. And for me personally, if one of my superstars does win, then I'm going to put them in my world title match at that WrestleMania. So from a standpoint of realism for there, that at least adds to it. I wish the Royal Rumble was added, but doesn't appear to be. But at least the Elimination Chamber is. And there's something like Money in the Bank for this as well. We get to see. But if there's a Money in the Bank where it's a ladder match, just like a realistic setup like Elimination Chamber, I think that would be cool to add for a brand warfare perspective, as these are kind of the situations where I think it makes the most sense. Also, we have a brand new list of PLEs here. Battlegrounds new, Evolution's new, Crown Jewel's new, a lot of new ones. Love to see that because it felt like there was just too few last year. So to add, it's probably like almost 10 new ones roughly. That really will make it a lot more fun for each playthrough. And scheduling shows, intergender matches are now in there. And also, superstars that you have set up for a promo can also be in a match. Those are 2 huge changes that I love to see. Taking a look here, confirming the matches. Very similar to last year. Power cards, once again, very similar to last year. Hidden Agenda is a new one, I believe. 2 times per season, immediately gain 1 random GM power card selected from a pool of all the other GM power cards. Okay, pretty cool there. Promos, in addition to promos, we also have introduced invasion promos. You can start to attack an opposing brand and attempt to steal some of their fans. That's pretty cool. That's definitely unique, and from a, peer versus peer, human versus AI, we're trying to beat your opponent. I think that makes a lot of sense and is a lot of fun to add to the mode. Mid-season push. Want to make sure that all players have the opportunity to prepare some of their superstars for the last half of the season. You can just choose up to 6 superstars to boost their stamina and morale. Huge. I talked about before, it's a huge thing to have the ability to really make a second half push. So not only does increasing from 25 to 50 weeks really add the element, but also with this 6 superstars getting a stamina boost, I think is huge and great to see. For the GMs, Mick Foley is there, so that means Mick Foley should be in the game with his, different personas and still in the game, because it's rumored that he will not be in the game next year anymore. But he is in there this year, which I think is great to see. All the list of GMs there. Stacy Keebler is one, Bobby Heenan's one, and then the anonymous general manager. That's kind of funny. And seasonal challenges, those kinds of things, other new additions. Overall, I think great MyGM update. A lot of new fun things to make their game feel fresh. Love to see it. Let me know what you guys think about all the universe mode and MyGM changes down below in the comment section. I personally love them all for the most part, and I'm really excited for 2K26. Make sure to like and subscribe, and also check out my Discord, link in the description below.